floor mirror and shoot your water pick up your hind end, all right? It'll have the same effect. I almost got beat up at the water park. You believe it? I almost got beat up at the water park. I'm standing in line, get on this one water ride. There's a dude clutching on this big-ass inner tube. And I said, hey, where'd you get that inner tube? He said, what? I said, that big-ass inner tube you got there. He said, that's my wife, you son of a bitch. They got indoor water parks up there because it's so damn cold. What the hell? Anybody, I know it's cold here. You been to northern Wisconsin this summer? You know how long their summer lasts? 48 minutes. All right, I ain't kidding with you. I was just up there. I ain't kidding with you. You could have played this little piggy with my nipples when I was up there. My wiener was like a bear. It went into hibernation for 3 days. I ain't kidding. I could have flashed a cop and not gotten in trouble. I'm not kidding with you. You should have seen it. Looked like a helmet sitting on shrubbery if you looked real good at it. I wish my nipples and this would get together on the weather. My nipples love cold weather. My wiener hates it. I mean, it's cold. They're like, yeah. You know, he's like, ah. He's stuck up in there. It's embarrassing. I went to moon my cousin. Looked like I was pooping a mushroom. All right, I'm not kidding with you. Don't laugh at that. That's not even funny. I don't even know why you're laughing at that. Flipping freezing there. Remember I was there, the bed bugs at the hotel called the front desk and requested extra blankets. All right, I couldn't believe it. And I hate cold weather. I live in Nebraska. You talk cold. You know how cold it was Thanksgiving in Nebraska? This is a true story. There's a knock on my door, 6 o'clock in the morning. It was a turkey wanting to borrow my deep fryer. All right, I ain't kidding with you. It was freezing. My dog licked himself and got his tongue stuck. It was freezing. I had to wipe with an ice scraper. All right, they're not all funny, but they're in a row. All right, how's that? So I'm going for quantity, not quality here this evening, is what you have. I like warm weather. That's what I like. Bring on that global warming. That's what I say. People get nuts over that, don't they? Man caused global. We need to do something about the way we live and we heating up the earth. Oh, shut up. Well, you seen what happened in Washington, D.C.? 27 inches of snow. Explain that. All right, February. How's that? I ain't Nostradamus, but I have a guess what's going to happen in July, too. Hot. All right, it's going to be hot in July. I mean, it's stupid. I got a buddy of mine. Well, you go ahead and laugh. The Earth's heated up 0.7 of a degree in the last 100 years. Oh, well, what the hell? Go home and stab yourself in the face, then. End it, all right? Just end it if it's that bad. How many people have ever gone outside in 100-degree weather and said, boy, I'll tell you what, it feels 3/4 of a degree hotter out here this year than it did last year. There's something going on in this country. Well, I like that warm weather. I don't like humidity, though. I lived in Florida for a long time, and you get to sticking down here good tonight. I had to shoot baby powder up there about every 3 minutes. I was down there in Florida. My mom had to make me a pair of boxer shorts out of a ShamWow when I was down there. I couldn't believe it. It was so hot in Florida one time, my grandpa replaced his hemorrhoidal suppositories with dilly bars. Dilly bars. This show should have been $300 a piece. All right, I'm telling you right now. That's a $300 joke right there. But it's hot in Florida in the summer. I remember in August one time I had a buddy of mine about 420 pounds. He'd leave my Target with a little plastic kiddie pool. I said, you ain't gonna fit in that to be cool. He said, no, the game's on. That's for bean dip. I shouldn't talk about fat folks, so I got my own problems. So I started losing me some weight 2 weeks ago because I had a tragic event happen to me, kicked my butt in gear, and it sucks when you have to have a tragic event to make fat folk lose weight. And a lot of people, it's a heart attack or diabetes, and then let me tell you what happened to me 2 weeks ago. For the first time in my life, I had to show my titties to get out of a ticket. But I did see something that did change my life. I was reading an article the other day, and it said carbohydrates is the fastest way to the grave. And I told my wife right then after I read it, I said, sweetheart, mark this down on the calendar. Right now, from now on, done. I'm not reading nothing. All right? I ain't read nothing since. My wife has me on a diet now she come up with called the "We're not having sex till you lose weight" diet. That's what she had me on. This is my impression of my wife when we're making love. I've tried a lot of stuff, tried a dietitian. They're just taking your money. I go see a dietitian. You know what he says to me? "Larry, you need to eat 6 times a day." I do that now. What the hell, if I eat 1 more time a day, you're going to see me at Walmart on a scooter wearing pajama jeans. All right, that's ridiculous. Went to see a trainer. The trainer says to me, "How many push-ups can you do?" I said, "I don't know, regular girl push-up." He says, "Either one of them." I said, "Neither one of them." All right, I can't do either one of them. I was on Nutrisystem in 2005. Remember my Nutrisystem commercials? That's right. I think they probably pretty pissed off at me about right now. I'm bad for business, I guess. I'm the only guy ever gone from Nutrisystem commercials to heartburn medication right here on stage. Man, I'm 5 pounds away from a sleep apnea contract up here. What the hell? No, look, Nutrisystem worked for me. I just didn't do it right. I didn't know you weren't supposed to eat the packaging. All right, that's my problem. But, oh, proud to say OTC. God love them. They ain't the first, the first people ever wanted me to do a commercial was 2003, Blue Collar TV. You know how they promote alternative fuels to be used? In 2003, they wanted me to test drive a truck, a pretty good-looking truck that run on human waste. That's true. I drove it for 3 days. What a piece of crap. 3 days, no pun intended. I go through the Taco Bell drive-thru in that deal, flooded the engine when I went through that deal. You believe that? It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. A buddy of mine had to come down there to drive-thru, give me a jump fart when I was down there at the drive-thru. If you can find another comedian in the country with a punchline of jump fart, I will kiss your hind end right now in front of everybody, because you're never going to find that. That's right. That's the kind of humor that gets the Grammy nominations right there. I like to hunt. I know there's a lot of hunters up here. And when I hunt, I do it a little different than most people. When I hunt, I dress all in orange from head to toe, and I hunt down by the interstate. That way the deer just think I'm a prisoner picking up trash out there. For y'all that don't hunt, did you know this? Did you know a deer gets a new rack every year, just like the Kardashians? Did you know that's true right there? I had a buddy of mine got in trouble. He was hunting. He called me up and says, "I'm in jail." I said, "What's wrong?" He says, "I don't know. The game warden put me in jail. It's ridiculous." I said, "What'd you do?" He says, "Nothing. I shot 2 wild turkeys. He put me in jail." He can't do it just, no, I shot 2 wild turkeys. He put me in jail. He's a communist. I'm going to go down and see what happened. I go down there about to raise a fuss. Turns out he did 2 shots of wild turkey and accidentally shot the game warden. All right, that's what happened. And his cousin was in a car accident. His face is all disfigured. And he told me the other day, "I'm the ugliest man in the world. I just want to kill myself." And I said, "Come on now, you ain't either." So I wanted to cheer him up. So I run him up to Walmart for a few hours. And it worked. Turns out he's the 37th ugliest man in the world. So there's some ugly folks in my Walmart. What the hell? Remember that website, the people of Walmart? Remember that? I always thought that was hilarious till I wound up on the site last year. Pissed me off. The one time a year I go to Walmart shopping wearing that pink unitard, they're snapping pictures in there for the damn deal. I shouldn't say there's fat, big folks at my Walmart, but I will say this. Yesterday, the junior miss department just put in a potato bar. All right, I'll say that much. They got some crazy shoppers up there, too. Hey, you want to see some crazy shoppers? Have yourself a daggum garage sale. I had one garage sale, never again. Woman comes up, she goes, "Boy, I like these boots. You got these in a size 6? "Oh, no, let me run in the back and check my inventory on these boots." All right. And you never seen more cheap folks in your life than at a garage sale. Guy comes up, he says, how much is this? I go, $1. He goes, does it work? It's $1. What the hell? Do you work? Well, what the hell? Here's the guy that really pisses you off, this guy. How much is this? 50 cents. I'll give you a quarter. I'll give you a dime to get the hell off my property, all right? I swear, they're so cheap. You could have put a $10 bill on the table. Somebody offer you 75 cents for that $10 bill on there. Here's one thing I learned about a garage sale. Never invite your relatives, because they'll see all the gifts they got you the last 25 years up there at that table. Hey, is that watch I got you last year? Shoot, no. That watch you got me, I keep in the safe deposit